imagining things. The next weekend, the same routine. But this time, the whole side of my bed sagged. Someone was sitting right next to me. I didn't move. Then I heard them jump down from the high bed. I looked. She was, again, facing the wall. Let's set the scene. I'm a freshman in 2021. Growing up in a small West Virginia town so tiny, the small university I attended was practically in my backyard just 15 minutes away. COVID was still defining our world, and it emptied out the campus dorms. Most students rented apartments, but I couldn't afford that luxury. So, I stayed on campus, driving home on weekends, desperately hoping for that classic dorm experience anyway. On move-in day, I met my roommate. The school had given her my number, which felt odd, but she seemed nice over text. In person, she was quiet, carrying a vibe of privilege. She once casually mentioned, "Everyone gets their own rooms due to low enrollment." I did, until you joined. I was stunned, changed the subject, and mentioned my weekend plans, leaving every Friday, returning Monday at 6 a.m. She mostly stayed with her boyfriend during the week. Now, here's where it gets unsettling. That first Friday, I left as planned. I returned Monday at 6, exhausted, and crawled back into my tall bed with its thick memory foam. 10 minutes later, I felt the edge of the mattress indent beside me. I lay frozen. It lifted. My mind raced. I turned and saw her facing the wall, seemingly asleep. I convinced myself I was logic short-circuited. Hallucinations? Sleep paralysis? An intruder? Impossible. Only we had keys. I dismissed it as extreme fatigue. Then came the third Monday. I walked in, nervous. She was asleep, facing my bed. I climbed in. 5 minutes later, the indentation. Then, the weight of someone sitting. I squeezed my eyes shut, and then I felt a hand on the back of my neck. My heart stopped. They didn't squeeze, just held it there. For an eternity. Finally, they got up. I turned. She was asleep. I bolted from the room, called my mom, and we reported it to the school. I switched rooms immediately. I didn't involve police. What proof did I have? I just begged them not to give her another roommate. Later, details haunted me. Her mention of a previous roommate who didn't stay long. A locked drawer full of prescription bottles she claimed were for a skin condition. Days later, I had to go back for a forgotten book. My key still worked. She wasn't there until I turned to leave, and she was silently blocking the doorway. I hadn't heard her come in. I forced a smile. She asked where my new room was. Elite. She pressed for details. Which hall? Near what? I kept lying, then pushed past her, never looking back. Was she sleepwalking? Testing how close she could get. My mom believes she was practicing, and that hand on my neck was a prelude to something far worse. I'll never know. I just hope, for everyone's sake, she never had another roommate again. Fast forward to my final year at the University of Huddersfield, 2023. It's not a party school, so late nights usually mean grinding in the library or 24-hour academic buildings. I'm not a night owl, but a crushing statistics project and a dying laptop forced me into the business building one night past 10 p.m. This place is isolated, 3 stories of old, eerie silence that feels sterile and cold. The computer lab on the second floor was my target, usually empty, perfect for focus. The second I swiped in, the chemical smell of cleaner hit me. The janitors were already gone. It was just me, the hum of the computer, and the clock ticking toward 1 a.m. Then, at 11:30, a door slammed deep in the building. Then, footsteps, heavy, deliberate, echoing down the hall. They stopped right outside the lab door. The handle began to RTTL, and not a test, a violent, persistent shaking. My blood ran cold. The door was locked, but the intent was pure terror. It stopped. The footsteps faded. I tried to work. Then, a new sound, from above the ceiling tiles. A shift, a creaked, distinct noise of someone crawling, lowering their weight directly over me. Tile moved. That was it. I yanked my flash drive, grabbed my bag, and fled into the dim, buzzing hallway. I hit the stairwell and made a fatal mistake. I looked up. On the landing above, a man stood staring down. He wasn't a student. His clothes were torn. His mouth hung open in a wide, silent grin. I didn't breathe. I sprinted, bursting out into the night and not stopping until I was barricaded in my dorm. The next morning, I had to return to submit my project. In the daylight, the building felt normal, until I saw it. 2 ceiling tiles were missing, one directly above where I sat, and one in the corner I'd seen move. The reality clicked with horrific clarity. Someone was in the ceiling, watching me. They rattled the door to scare me, and when it was locked, they moved through the crawl space to get in. I dread to think what would have happened if I'd been slower. Let's just say I invested in a new laptop that week, and I now do all my work from the safety of my room. My name is Annabelle. I'm 20, from the UK, and this is the single scariest day of my life. At 16, in what we call college here, my school had strict security. Lanyard IDs to scan through every door. It was a new, complex building shared with a special needs school and a nursery. On our very first day, they drilled into us. Never let a stranger in. This happened in my second week. During a geography class, 20 minutes after lunch, I desperately needed the bathroom. The teacher, annoyed, finally let me go, meaning the halls were utterly deserted. I did my business and re-entered the empty cafeteria. That's when I saw him, a man sitting alone at a table. He had a lanyard. I assumed he was a teacher. He said, "Hey," making me jump. He apologized, then asked, "I need help getting some work things from my car. Do you mind coming out with me for just a sec?" No hesitation, staff, right? I said, "Yeah, of course." But as we walked in silence to the car park, my nerves tingled. Teachers make small talk. He didn't. He fidgeted constantly, and his ID card was flipped over, hiding his photo, something only kids did. We reached the car park, obscured by bushes. "My car's the blue one at the end," he said. As we neared it, I saw shapes in the back seat. 2 men, hiding. I froze. The back door flew open. A man scrambled out, and the teacher grabbed my arm. I'm 5 feet 2 inches, underweight, but a surge of adrenaline ripped my arm free. I ran, hearing heavy footsteps pounding behind me. I hit the school's glass automatic doors, and waited the longest second of my life for them to swish open. The footsteps stopped. They didn't follow. I burst into the campus cafe, hyperventilating, and told the worker everything. Police were called. Security footage confirmed it all. They were caught and charged with attempted kidnapping. How did he get in? A student had dropped their lanyard outside. He used it, flipping the ID so no one would see it wasn't him. I didn't return to school for weeks. I'm still in therapy. Writing this down, sharing it with you, is part of my healing. It was a perfect trap, and it almost worked. Stay aware, trust your instincts, and please hold onto your ID.